if we make really a historical game out of it. And for that, we also need our supporters anyhow to carry us. So it has to be an atmosphere second to none, and they have to carry us through this period. And everyone has to be in the best shape, not just the manager, not just the players, also like the guys who are selling the tickets, the guys who are selling the burgers and the sausages, anyhow, our grown keepers. Everyone has to be in a historical spirit in order to give ourselves a chance. And if we do so, then we have a chance also to create perhaps a chapter of Leeds United's history.
You've experienced yourself at Barcelona what Mikel Arteta is going through right now, that pressure of trying to win a first league title as a manager. What's that pressure like? What do you remember of that time?
I don't remember. I'm not here to give advices to Mikel. In my point of view, what now is how is in your brain and your mind
we didn't quite do
will
enough.
make the difference. So, because we talk a lot, many meetings for many years for the new players, maybe new, but when arriving the last 3 months of the competition is when being there is everything is it.
Yeah, what a game this is for the simple reason that in the reverse fixture, Daniel Farke made some big calls at half-time and it changed everything for Leeds.
Yeah, and it felt like that game, I was at that game as well, and it felt that was almost this flick of a switch for Leeds when they just found this, I would say, groove together. You know, it wasn't sort of one individual or a certain player in the moment. It felt like a togetherness. To be 2-0 down against Manchester City at half-time, you're thinking the game's done. Get themselves back to 2-8. Of course, they lose in the end 3-2, but that felt like a catalyst moment to say we can compete in the Premier League. And since then, they've gone on and been very competitive in every game they've played, pretty much. They had a tough result against Arsenal, but beyond that, I think Leeds have had a very good couple of months, and they've put themselves in a chance where now you're thinking they have a good chance of staying up.
Yeah, just 2 defeats in 14 after that game. But Manchester City will be a very different challenge this time around because they know if they beat Leeds, the gap to Arsenal is just 2 points. They apply the pressure, and Tim, they are the masters, you know, at this position in this type of run-in.
This time of the season. You see, they're the masters there. You're absolutely right. They've got the experience. They've done it. They've got the best manager in the league, best manager probably in the Premier League history. And he knows exactly how to nurture this group into it. And like he says, this time of the season, probably a couple of weeks down the line, after you come back from the international break, it is between the years where it matters. You know, we can all play. You know, can you handle the pressure? And that is what he's asking questions to Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal players, because they haven't done it before. So it's automatic that everyone's going to ask the questions. Have you got the bottle for it? Are you capable? We know Man City are, because they've got enough players within that group to help out the ones who haven't. And the manager is experienced enough to get over the line. I don't think they drop any. I don't know where their drop points come from. I think it's going to be crucial when they play the head-to-head game against each other. But up until then, I think both teams win all their games.
They weren't that comfortable against Newcastle in the second half, to be fair. It was a hard fight for them. And I think Pep Guardiola's celebrations at the end, when he was so exuberant and went up to the crowd.
In this game.
There was relief, though. There was an element of it.
I just think they've set their stall out to say, you know what, we're going to lure you into a false sense of security so you can come out and play against us, and we will outscore you. And they do that to every team. Whereas Arsenal get behind the ball and then it's a low block, they've got to break it down. People come out against City now. I mean, O'Reilly, what a player he is. I mean, no matter where you ask him to play, he's one of the best players on the pitch. He's playing as a 10 at the moment. 2 fantastic goals. And Haaland looks like, and you're absolutely right, it was unusual, the celebration at this stage of the season. And even his comments afterwards, you know, the boys can, well done, go away, drink cocktails now, you know, and enjoy yourself. He's sending a message. The mind games have started, even to his pal Mikel Arteta. He believes, and the good thing is, from Mikel's point of view, he has to realise that, well, if Pep's starting that now, then he is worried about us a little bit. Just embrace it. Embrace everything about it. When we was in that run-in before, I've been experienced, finished second, not really had the belief, and then we ended up winning it. When I was asked, are you nervous? And these Arsenal boys are saying, no, just trying to bat it off. I used to say, I'm petrified. Yes, I'm really nervous. You disarm anyone who's asking you the questions, because what are they going to say after that? And you say, you know what, I'm embracing the fact that I'm nervous, because that, you know what it means? It means we're in it. It means we're in it, and we're going to embrace it, and we're going to enjoy every ride. And I think that's what Arsenal need to do now. They can't be scared, because if they don't get over the line now, Arsenal, and it's only for one reason, because people are going to point at their mentality. that they haven't got the bottle to be able to achieve it, and it's going to get harder and harder for them. They've come up 3 times now, finished second. This could be the 4th time. It'd be even harder next time to win the league, and it's now. They need to do it.
Yeah, you talk about mentality. That is the big one that everyone keeps pointing to. And interestingly enough, on Premier League Live, we talked to Mark Gahey after that game and asked him what the atmosphere was like, you know, in this title chase, because it's his first time being in such a situation. And he just talked about calm. He just talked about it all being, you know, relaxed, not even really looking at watching the games, looking at what Arsenal are doing, which I don't believe that, by the way.
No, of course,
No, I don't. But the calmness,
not that he tells
believe.
lies, because he wouldn't, but maybe a white lie there along the way.
Maybe he sees the scores. Maybe he has an app on his phone, the Premier League official app on his phone.
Believe me, I'm watching. I kicked every ball at the opposition. You know, I was diving to try and save things out. 100% you're watching whatever. It saves you a job. Someone else beats your opposition or your competition. It saves you another 3 points. So of course they're watching.
Yeah, but the main point I was making, and the question I was really asking to Rachel, is not do you think he's watching, but it's interesting that he mentioned the calm, and there is that whole mind game aspect of it that you've just brought up.
But I think that will be intentional for Pep and the staff. But also I think I can understand where you'd be calm, because Man City will back themselves in every game from here on in, because a lot of those players in that dressing room have done that. They've done it before. And when you've done it before, you do have that calmness. Arsenal can't lean on that. And that will be something in the I think that helps you in a lot of moments when maybe you're playing games like Newcastle, when you're maybe not playing your best, or you're playing games where for a large spell of the game's 0-0, or it's 1 each, and you think, oh, we just need one moment. That's when the calmness really helps you, because somebody on the pitch will relax.
Yeah.
And when you need that just real flair in attacking third, one of your top players, and both sides have loads of them, one of your top players comes up with a moment.
Yeah, Manchester City are finding their groove right now. Look at that, 3 wins in a row over Liverpool, Fulham and Newcastle in the Premier League. 4 wins in their last 5 as well. Are their troubles well and truly behind them now?
Yeah, for me they are. Like I say, I think Arsenal going to have to go there and try and win that game. I think too many times they go there and try not to get beat. I think now's the time to take maximum points there, and I think if they do, the Carabao Cup final will have a big play in who wins the title as well, because of confidence. I think that's the 22nd of March. Whoever wins that game will have the confidence, because they've already banked 1 trophy and going into the head-to-head when they play against each other. And like I say, the only worry I have, maybe a hiccup there tomorrow for Arsenal against Chelsea. I'm not sure Chelsea can beat them, but I think they can take points off them. So maybe a point, and that would be, you know, even more nerve-wracking for them going into the remaining fixtures.
What about Leeds, just very quickly before we move on? You know, they're well and truly out of the relegation race. Do you see them still fighting for survival?
They've got to still chip away, get points on the board. But I think whilst you've got players, I think Calvert-Lewin, keeping him available and fit is big for them. I think they've looked a lot more resilient and solid at the back, and that's always a very good foundation. They've had the capacity to just be a little more adaptable in their shape. And I think they're just still within touching distance of West Ham for me. And I do think they need another probably 4 or 5 points to really feel, yeah, okay, we're out of this.
So Leeds in 15th then, clear of the relegation zone, but still, as Rachel mentioned, there's some work to do. West Ham, Burnley and Wolves in the drop zone. But Wolves had a big Friday night because they got their 2nd victory of the season.
General is doesn't matter where they're positioned in the league table. That's the current Premier League, but that's not only for us. I watch a lot of games, as any manager does. Before you play a team, you watch 4 or 5 games, or maybe sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less. And I can tell you that we're not the only team that sometimes plays a half of football that we played in the first half against Forest.
Yes, I'm really nervous.
So, but that's also the quality you face.
When a team has conceded late goals, as you have recently, and you're playing a team that scored lots of late goals, can it, in that last 10 minutes, can it start to get into the players' minds?
I hope not. It happened to us before. I think we are trying to correct it, because it's been really damaging for us. in terms of performance, results, the overcome, the feeling. After that, minute one is important. Then play the game, action after action. Don't think about the late, think about the minute one. Minute one, switch on and play. Action after action, action after action. What I ask is focus, total concentration during the game.
Another match that sees a side chasing Champions League up against one fighting for survival. And you have a great stat for us, don't you?
Oh, it's actually one of these stats where you think that cannot be true. But West Ham have only won at Anfield in the league once in the last 52 meetings.
Wow.
And this just doesn't feel like this weekend is a good opportunity for them to make that too. But they are in slightly better form, but their league position is a concern.
Did you know that much as a...
It's their turn, isn't it? Must be their time to win.
I just meant when you go into games as a player, as a manager, did you ever pay attention to stats like that?
No, because you've got to believe that you're different. It's a different environment. And they've shown some fight in recent weeks.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't picked up as many points as what they should have done. I think Nuno's done a good job organising that group of players. Disasi's gone in there. I thought it might be the end of him when he went in there, but he's really done well. Yeah. And he's got them more organised at the back.
Tati Castellanos, for example?
They've got a chance. They've got a chance, that's for sure. And that is promising. I mean, but it's going to be very difficult. You'd rather have the points on the board. But they know it's going to be tough. They know every game's going to be tough. When you're down there, I've been there myself, you're not sure. You keep it to yourself, but you're not sure where your next win's going to come from. And you just have to concentrate on your performance. And like you said, concentration, 1 minute till the last minute, and see what it brings.
I think they got a good point in that game against Bournemouth, which when you're where they are, you get points. But then all the games before that, they score goals. And I always just think, even when you're suffering, if you know you've got players in your team that can score goals for you, I just think you play with a different set of belief. Because even if you go goal behind, you think, I know we can get ourselves back in this. I know we can get a goal. And some of the goals they have scored have been excellent in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
You know, they scored different types of goals. They've got flair, they've got character, they've got players that are good 1v1, they put balls in the box. They're diligent on set plays now. That was an issue for them. So they're in a better place.
Yeah.
Liverpool away is a very tough game. That's probably not going to be the game they'll look back at if they, depending on where they end, they're going to think, could he have got more points on the board?
I was going to say, Tim, that Castellanos is one of those who came in January and has made a big difference with someone like Crescencio Somerville, who also went on that big scoring run. And as Rachel mentioned, there have been goals.
Yeah, Somerville I like. Castellanos I don't really like. I don't see the merit in him, but he's done okay. I just think Callum Wilson's a better striker than him, in my opinion. I know he went to Burnley and played both of them up front, and it worked for him on the day. I'm sure he'd be doing that at Anfield, because he might leave himself a little bit more exposed defensively. But the only thing you can say is, I mean, no one should give them a chance, really. But they will believe in the dressing room that they can... Right, Liverpool are not playing well, and that's a fact. And without Florian Wirtz as well, who I think has been their best player, getting injured last week, I think it's a huge blow. Lacks that creativity. And if you can take it, Liverpool fans know it's crucial. It's a minimum requirement for Arne Slot to finish in the Champions League spots. Now, they're holding on to it at the moment. They've got to fight their life to get into it. And they can breed anxiety in the crowd. And you need to be a brave player at Anfield when the crowd are turning against you a little bit. Not that they ever turn on them completely. I never see that for Liverpool fans. But you have to take advantage of that if you're a travelling player going there, and they will take huge support. West Ham, they're a well-supported side. So they're going in hope more than expectation, the fans, but you just never know. It's the Premier League. Like we saw tonight, you know, a team with 10 points for the game beat a team in third place. And if you just landed on this world and watched the game, you wouldn't know who was in which position. It is the Premier League. It's the most competitive league in the world. And it's very difficult to predict. So it might be just West Ham's time.
Yeah, the great irony is that Liverpool obviously beating Forest means that West Ham are now within touching distance of Forest themselves ahead of this game at Anfield. But let's talk about Liverpool, because we've already said, will Chelsea make it into the Champions League? Will Aston Villa qualify for the Champions League? What about Liverpool? Do they make top 4 or 5?
I think I think they'll believe that they can. And I think that is probably something that's quite significant. I feel in the last couple of weeks there's been a little bit less noise around Liverpool. It sort of felt like for a little while there was a lot of noise. It was a bit of a crisis. You know, where is the side from last season that won the league? I now feel they're in touch with this. You know, same points as Chelsea. Chelsea with a tough game this weekend. Liverpool will be thinking, we need to make sure we take maximum points because it's a big opportunity to go above. And depending on what happens at United, you know, they don't get a result, goal difference, etc. You know, there's a real chance they can get very close to fourth by the end of the weekend. And I just feel like whilst that noise is quieting for Liverpool, it's given them the chance to just stabilise things. And I think they could just quietly sneak up on a few teams.
If you're Arne Slot and you're looking up that table, who would you think you can claw back?
I think Liverpool will think they have more than both Chelsea and Man United.
And Villa or not?
I think they'll believe they can catch Villa, yes. But I think that might be tough for them because 6 points at this stage of the season is difficult. But I definitely think they'll think Chelsea and Man United now are...
The reason I have them as an advantage over Chelsea is because I think defensively they're more sound.
Yeah.
I think they've got the experience and they know severity of the position. I don't think Arne Slot keeps his job if they're not in the Champions League next season. I really don't believe that. I think there will be a change in manager. They don't sack managers. They don't like to sack managers, especially a manager who done so well last year and won the Premier League. But to finish outside of the Champions League spots, I think it's untenable.
I mean, those fixtures are favourable when you see the games they have. That could very easily be 5 wins. And I think if it's 5 wins, they are going to be right on the heels, if not ahead of those two teams above them.
We did mention 6 points. Of course, if they do manage to beat West Ham, it's only down to 3. You know, and that's why this is so exciting to watch as well, because there are a couple of teams in it and you just don't know what's going to happen. I guess the one positive for Liverpool is that they've kept back-to-back clean sheets as well. And you know, the defence that has been under so much fire, to go to Sunderland and keep a clean sheet and win there, they became the first team to do that, and then to keep a clean sheet against Forest as well.
They've looked much better in that area. And I do think that's also a factor of the fact there's been less noise around. You know, the focus of the last few weeks has turned to other places because of the fixtures and because of what's drawn the attention of the media. And I think they've benefited from that. But defensively, they weren't good enough in the first portion of the season. The goals they were conceding, the mistakes, some of the characteristics we saw from players in that back line was suggestive of, we don't feel good at the moment. We're not in our prime. And that counts for a lot. And I think Liverpool are a team that they lean heavily on that. They know how difficult it is to go to Anfield.
Yeah.
They then know it's not just being here that's difficult, it's also because defensively we're very sound. And I think they'll just try and put all the little pieces together and try and get every 1% in their favour, and they'll really pile on the pressures.
One note of caution I would give to Liverpool from the outside looking in: don't let this bringing Mo Salah off last week turn into the circus again, because that would disrail him. You know, if you overplay the man, you get your arm around him. For me, he plays. And I know Rio's a good player. He can come on and affect it. You know, he's got a lot of time to be a Liverpool player. You've got a superstar there. His last months of being a Liverpool player, in my opinion, he will leave at the end of the season. Make the most of it and just embrace him, because he will turn up for you on the big occasions, what you're going to need between now and the end of the season.
We still have a couple more managers to hear from ahead of Matchweek 28. We start with Fulham against Spurs. You got the comments that he just made there.
I was worried when I saw them comments today. I liked him without even knowing him. When he first walked in, I thought he looked the part. I thought they lacked fight in that North London derby, which was a huge blow. But when I looked at his both interviews back to back, of the first one when he said 100% I guarantee that Tottenham will stay in the Premier League next season, despite the injuries. Right? Today, he said this is the toughest job he's had of the firefighting jobs he's had previously, and he needs players back as quickly as possible. It worried me a bit. Even if that is correct, just keep it in-house, because you need to give as much confidence to the players who are stepping into the shoes of the players who are injured moving forward. And the 2 cup finals. Well, they got 3 cup finals in the next 4 weeks. They play Fulham away, they Palace at home. You go away to Liverpool and then a huge cup final against Nottingham Forest at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We will know if Tottenham will be in the Premier League next season after these next 2 games, in my opinion. They have to take at least 4 points from the next 2 games.
Don't look away. Big ones coming up for Spurs. And just like that, it's prediction time for Tim and Rachel. We're starting with Bournemouth against Sunderland. Rachel.
Ooh, tricky one. I like Bournemouth at home. I think they've been playing better football as well and found a groove. I'm going to say 1-0 Bournemouth.
Tim?
2-0 Bournemouth.
Burnley, Brentford.
Burnley 1, Brentford 1.
I think Brentford need to bounce back, so I'm going to say 2-1 Brentford.
Liverpool, West Ham.
3-0 Liverpool, I think.
Liverpool 1, West Ham 2.
Ooh, the run is coming to an end, says Tim. OK, what about Newcastle, Everton? What's your prediction?
Newcastle 2, Everton 0.
I think that could be 1 each. I think it'll be tight.
Leeds, Man City.
I think this could be another lively game. I think City will edge it 1-0.
Leeds will come out. Man City will let them come out. They'll let them score and then they'll beat them 3-1. Lure them in. Come on.
OK, on Sunday, there's Brighton versus Forest.
Brighton 1, Forest 2.
Oh.
I think this could be goals. I'm going to say 2-2.
Fulham, Spurs.
1-1 for me.
OK, 1-0 Spurs.
Man United, Crystal Palace.
Bit roguey. I'm going to say 2-0 Palace.
Oof.
2-0 Palace? What was that, Man United?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, 3-0. 3-0 Man United. 3-0 Man United. Glaston's thrown a towel in it.
Your face. Arsenal, Chelsea.
Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1.
1-0 Arsenal.
Which game are you most looking forward to since the weekend has already started?
I'm not looking forward to it, but I want to see the result and I want to see a positive one. It's Fulham Tottenham. But to say I'm looking forward to it would be pretty of an over.
You're dreading it.
I can't bear it. Can't bear it. But I think they beat Palace next week.
OK. Well, I'll be at that game. I'll text you the score as it's happening.
Yeah.
OK. What are you most looking forward to?
I actually think Leeds Man City. I think that will be drama of some kind.
Well, speaking of drama, we've already had plenty of drama this evening at Molineux. It started with a victory for Wolves